What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? It's another episode of Sang Lucci TV. Be sure to interact with us on Twitter if you have any questions. Welcome, Kenny, man. What's going on? It's been a while. We got a lot to talk about. There's some earnings here, shit that's going on in Greece. We want to catch everybody up on the UVXY. It was a pretty big ass trade. That's a trade of a lifetime there. Could have been. So we want to get your opinions on that as well. But what's going on, Kenny, man? How you been? What's the deal with you, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you been? I've
Good,
been,
man.
I've been waiting for a trip. I'm getting on a boat tomorrow, headed to Alaska. So my brain has just been. I didn't even want to be involved in the market this whole month, but I was forced to pay attention with all my UVXY naked calls out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's save this for a little bit because I want to spend some time on this one. Dude, what's up with Alaska, man? Why Alaska? What the fuck are you doing in Alaska, man?
I think we've hit as a family every island there is. How many times can you go to an island at this point?
You know what? The Caribbean is now getting played out, man. It's getting played out. It's getting played out. The Turks and Caicos, the Barbados, the Bermuda. It's getting played out. Unless you go to Cuba. You know, Cuba's the new shit.
Yeah,
But that's going to be played out soon too. You know that.
you got to check out Cuba. Alaska's something that, it sounds like it's going to be a fun trip. Plus, I love to fish. I'm going to do some side fishing while I'm up there. Do some halibut fishing and some salmon fishing. So I'm a big fisherman. I love it. I can't wait to go. And, I just hope that the room is a little bit bigger than this last cruise I was on. It's like you're trying to sleep up against a wall, and it's just the rooms are just crazy small.
Yeah, man. I've never been in a cruise, man. I've never been on a cruise once. And then when I looked at the system and when everybody told me about the cruises that go to Puerto Rico or, wherever the hell they go, it's like this big hustling system, right? You get a comedian that gets a crazy cut that's just on board the whole time and he doesn't show. And then everybody goes to the same places. When you get off the island, right? It's like everybody is in cahoots. And everybody is making ridiculous amounts of money on your dumb ass, and that's why I looked at it and I was like, eh. And that's why those cruises were so cheap at that time too. Like you could get a great cruise to the Caribbean for like $250 a couple of years ago. So it wasn't that big of a deal, but you spend out of your ass when you were down there.
I don't know about $250, but the cruise itself, yeah, they get you on these side trips. Oh man, my daughter. I don't go on small planes or helicopters. I'm afraid of heights, so. My daughter and my wife are going on this helicopter excursion. It's like $600 a person. The fishing trip cost me, I think it's going to cost $275 a person. We're going to do the dog mushing. There's $250 a person. So you spend a lot of money getting off the boat, but it's a vacation. You do this once this is going to be once in a lifetime. I'm sure I'm not going to be going to Alaska again, but
dude,
I can't wait. I'm usually dreading trips.
Because you always leave at a time where the market is going to do something fucking crazy and you're going to miss a lifetime opportunity.
Right. But now...
And that's what happened to me, by the way, when I went to Mexico for that wedding when the market crashed. I dumped when I went to Mexico, and all the trades that I wanted, that Baidu from like 210 to like 180, boom. I've been waiting for that for so long, and I missed the whole shit, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's the crazy thing is normally the market will do some sort of black swan-y event while I'm away. This time it happened a week prior, so now I don't know what to make of it. What will be the event now? Considering the only position I have left, I mean, I closed everything out except some far out UVXY calls. I'm just, I had some August puts on the Qs.
Right.
We were going to roll over, and I didn't want to sell them because I was planning on holding them into my vacation because something usually happens, and the market seemed ripe for a sell-off, but
yes,
all the things came into play, and this time instead of it only taking 2 days for us to fucking forget about everything and not give a shit, and it actually lasted for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it lasted 2 weeks. Yeah.
We're back to all-time highs already. So, I don't know if the momentum is going to be strong enough in the summer to take us to new highs.
Right. Enough to propel us thus far. Yeah.
Yeah, it's either going to be one of two things. We're going to have another sell-off, and there's going to be some sort of an event, which I'm hoping for to the downside, or it's going to be one of those, well, Kenny Glick's on vacation as the market unprecedentedly rallies for the 13th day in a row, and the Dow Jones up a whopping 1,000 points. Incredible! Thank God that asshole went on vacation as the Qs hit 120. And as Netflix does another 7-for-1 split because it went up 700. We're just going to rally every day. I'm going to get back, and there's really nothing going to be to do. And going back to my favorite indicator on earth is the MarketWatch.com indicator.
Oh yeah, man. They kill it with the headlines, dude.
As long as
death crosses and all that shit.
As long as there's a headline on the first 7 headlines about why there's an imminent crash coming, we never go down. We're going down. You didn't see any of that shit. So I read the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life yesterday. This guy said the Twitter rumor that hit proves that this market's overheated and ready to go down.
Yes.
There's more value in the market.
I read that.
All we're trading on is rumors. Dude, asshole. There hasn't been value in the market since 1952. We don't trade on. I think I got booted, man. Am I still on? Hang on, let me see if I can get back in. Help me. I got booted.
Blip here on the feed. Kenny, you back?
I think I'm back.
Yeah, you're back. You're back. All right. So back into this. Netflix here just reported only a penny over expectations, but subscriber growth was good. Stock actually ripped like after hours to 102 before the numbers came out, and then rallied up to 109. So it's at fresh all-time highs. And split adjusted, guys, keep this in mind that 9 points split adjusted on Netflix equates to what?
63 points.
63 fucking points. 63 fucking points for this thing. So this thing is on a tear continually here, and the price targets here are getting egregious. There was already one at like 900, man. So Kenny, what do you think about this Netflix? When is this party gonna stop here?
Well, if you don't know, there's a show called Orange is the New Black, and if you like lesbian prison sex, hey, you gotta own Netflix. Because I just started watching the show, and I like it. Other than for the,
I never seen it. It's really about that. It's really about lesbians in prison, though.
There's a lot of stories, a lot of characters. It's a good show. It's a good show. There's not just lesbian.
Right.
There's a lot of things going on. It's fun. It's a fun watch. Something to do while I'm just trying not to trade. Watch it on Netflix, and it's worth my $8. It's worth my $8 a month, and I haven't even watched that other one, the House of Cards. I hear that's
House of Cards. Yeah, I mean, it was great. The last season wasn't that great, but total subscribers here, Kenny, 65.5 million. 65.5 million subscribers, and that's a long shot. That's a long way from when that stock was what, $60, and they had what, 4 million subscribers, bro.
Yeah,
they had like 4 million subscribers, and now you're talking about this thing. This thing is the new $1,000 name. This thing could be the $1,000 name. The next one up to the price line, man. I haven't been looking to trade this thing. I haven't traded this thing at all, but she always floats up into earnings. So that's what we've seen thus far. Now with this earnings gap up, I think you gotta give it a couple of days to cool down, but I think they could continue with this before you get a decent pullback here, man. We got Intel earnings here too. Kenny, you want to speak on this one? This one has been pretty bearish as of late, and then all of a sudden you get that pop here after hours here. Earnings were up about 5 cents.
Right, the death of the PC was that's really, people equate that with the death of Intel, but the Intel's coming out with that new chip. They have something in the works that they're stepping it up from Pentium. Again, it's a monopoly almost, that stock, and the valuations were down so much, the expectations were so muted that this thing really had nowhere else to go as long as they met some expectations, and apparently they blew them away. But these are lowered expectations. I like Intel. I obviously I'm not going to be buying it here. And I'll be looking for it to hold this gap. I mean, if this thing doesn't hold this $1.30, I think it was up over 2 points at one point.
Up over 2 points. Up over 2 points. Yeah, close was like 29.5, and the thing ripped to 32.5, so almost 3 points.
Yeah, so it's given back a chunk of it already.
Yeah, they said growth in data center, memory, and Internet of Things accounted for more than 70% of Intel's operating profit and helped offset a challenging PC market. That's what they said.
Right, so that's good. That's exactly, if you own that stock, that's exactly what you wanted to hear.
Indeed. Indeed, indeed. All right, and tomorrow we got some bank earnings, Citigroup and Goldman Sachs, and then the biggest one is Google, which is going to be coming out tomorrow, and we got to talk about this Google. Google finally, after maybe what, a year of bullshit consolidation trading, where Google, if you trade the Google, couldn't really get over that 580 area, just kind of finally tightened up its ranges around like 550 or so, and then just shot to the moon. And coincidentally, they made these moves happen during the earnings week. Kenny, can you speak on how much we dislike when they move stocks during the earnings week, man? How much do we dislike that, man? I hate it. I hate it. I fucking hate it. Because the options are so overpriced, man. So overpriced.
Yeah, well, I trade after the fact. You know, I look for the stocks to reverse the day after. I trade the premiums after they come. You know, the premium gets crushed the next day, and then I try to trade the reversals if there is one, like, you know, Johnson & Johnson, Wells Fargo, and Delta Airlines today. But holy shit, man, I haven't looked at a Google chart probably in maybe over a year and a half. This just broke the 552.75 according to my, you know, I have a guy that programs my thinkorswim charts. He gives me something called the multi-day, let's call it the multi-day VWAP. Sure. This just broke above a yearly VWAP, which is one of the most significant breaks ever. Right. So that, and you see what it did from 552 to 590. So you gotta love the VWAP, man. You just gotta love this stuff. Huge move for Google, and now you're talking about a possible earnings run, which is most likely going to happen. And this stock hasn't seen 600 for a long time. I'm betting they gap right through that and go right through 600. It's unfortunate here. I might miss the whole move, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I am currently short some Baidu, long some banks right now. Off the dip, it's like they took and you know what? To your point with the market watch. And the whole rate, you remember when we were talking about, you know, raising interest rates this year, and then all of a sudden on Market Watch there was all this no rate cuts are going to happen, right? All these articles about no rate cuts are going to happen because the market went out and dropped out, and now Yellen is like the shit's back on the table, and you know we you know it's fine. And if you look at the banks, take a look at the XLF. So you got like a huge V-shaped recovery on some of these things. I mean, Citigroup dropped down to like through 53 and is now back to 57. Bank of America was even crazier, down to, what is this, 16 and a quarter, and hit fucking 17.85 today. Yeah, and that broke back below multi-year VWAP. Generally, that's a bad thing, but obviously later it came back just like the market did. So, I mean, this market just must be driving. I mean, I'm one of them. I'm a bear by nature, but I learned my lesson in 2012 when I tried to fight the world and fight the Fed and the whole thing. That was me in 2013. I was like a little bit later than you, but I was still fucking wrong. I mean, I'm getting a lot of emails about, you know, when the market was going down finally, oh, how are the Qs going to get to 120 this year, tough guy? Yeah, they are. Not only are they going to 120 by the end of this year, 143 on January 17, 2017. I already have, it's programmed. We're living in a matrix here, all right? This market, there's no reason for any of it to derail. I mean, once again, every time we get past one of these moments of volatility, sometimes it lasts a day, 2 days, 3 days. This time it lasted 2 weeks. Yep, come right back. It's because it traps the shorts. Yep. So and then you get these grinding days, and it's just like the shorts are just sitting there. Please pull back, and it just grinds them. And you know they're sitting there with these levels. Oh, if it breaks here, I'm going to cover. And then it pulls back for 2 seconds, and they're like, maybe now, and it just grinds higher. We're going to be in that. It looks like we're just going to grind all the way up, and then all the sheep are going to come back when we're at all-time highs. We'll get that another spike up. I don't know, man. I want to think that this market would be healthy, and you would get a correction where we get to the point where the buy on dip people are finally saying, the wrong choice here. But they're always right, and it's no doubt. No doubt. All right, guys, interact again on Twitter. Any questions that you guys might have? Last thing I want to talk about before we go into this UVXY, and again, lifetime trade here on the freaking UVXY. Some of the calls and some of the activity was just fucking absurd on this UVXY. We got protests again, turning violent in Greece. There's another vote that is going to come, I think, at the end of today, or maybe tomorrow morning, or maybe by tonight. The final vote, as it were. And now you're getting some serious protests with some
it looks like of the Molotov cocktail persuasion, man. What do you make of this? Do you think the SPY? Do you think we get another 20 handle gap down on the SPY tonight?
Oh man, yes, because I'm leaving tomorrow on a plane. There's gonna be some volatile moment because I'm leaving.
Yeah.
But the flash crash started with Molotov cocktails being thrown in Greece also. And I thought this market was so ripe for the final, just to let it go, you know, and then not to mention the Apple Watch isn't selling as well. So there was so many things lining up. It was a perfect opportunity. Just let it drop, get it over with. And again, I was only short, and again, I've been wrong. I've been short-term bearish, but long-term, I still think maybe we would have had a week July into a week August, and then September, October, November, December, we would have had the Santa Claus rally, all that other bullshit that goes on along. And then next thing you know, we've been rallying all of 2016 right to 2017. I just thought finally we were going to go down a little bit further here, but I think we're back on that trajectory of just grinding higher, and we're going to keep on going. But it's a crazy market, but.
No doubt. So in that mind frame here, let's roll over to this UVXY. I mean, everybody out there knows, you've been aggressively short the naked calls here on the UVXY. First of all, I want to know how annoying have people been for the last week? Obviously, just hitting you up and asking you what the fuck you're doing. I mean, let's get that shit out of the way first, and then we'll talk the actual trade here. As you guys know, UVXY is a volatility index. It's a levered volatility index, right? It's a 3 times.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Yeah. 2 or 3, one of the two, and popped considerably here on the on the Greece dump. I think it went from about 33 to like a high of like 51, somewhere around there. A lot of the weekly calls just got pretty crazy. They got really crazy, from pennies to several dollars here, and then finally to the crash back down to where they came from, and then some, to where we are now. So obviously, there's a huge opportunity here for making money shorting calls, especially after you get those volatility spikes. I mean, that's essentially the idea behind shorting options in the first place. You want to come in off the volatility spikes. So obviously you're going to get the slow bleed on these things. Right. And eventually, though, you're going to get that volatility spike that you're either going to have to adjust for, sell into, or cover before the shit happens. I mean, that's just rule of thumb anytime you're selling options. However, things get a little dicey here when you're trading some weeklies. You're a little bit close to, a little bit too close to the money, whatever the case is. So let's get some spiel here from Kenny. First of all, how annoying were fucking people hitting you up, man? I know everybody was just gunning for you, man. Like, yo, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Well, what are you doing with your life?
Oh yeah, well, one guy who's been with me doing it for forever, he just kept texting me, telling me, "Don't panic, dude. You know these fuckers are going back down." I was like, if they break 47.50, I'm gonna have to start covering these 50s here. I'm in bad shape. I mean, it could have been a lot worse of a disaster for me, but I was selling these all along, and it came down to waiting. I had a week to go on these $50 calls.
Right.
I sold them at like $1.50. They were down to 20, 30 cents. Next thing you know, they're 3, 4, 5. I'm like, holy shit, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm like, holy crap. And I think I got booted again.
No. You're still here. I'm just trying to show a chart here. I don't know if it's coming up.
Yeah, so it got kind of dicey. So none of it would have affected me if I just would have traded the UVXY a little bit more aggressively, buying the underlying stock. But when I got 300 naked calls out there, buying 300 shares is not going to offset the psychopathic P&L disaster that was going on in my account.
Right.
But what was good is that I was trading so far out of the money, because if you take a look at the January $85 calls, I mean, these trade very, very actively, and you're 20, 30 points out of the money. So those are the ones I was like, all right, listen, if this thing breaks 60, then I'll start sweating these 85s. So at least I didn't panic out of those. I just had to cover some of them. But I did take a lot of guys, thanks for this, thanks for that, great idea. I'm like, great idea. Listen, if you sold a $50 call when the stock was at 35, at 38.50, did I tell you not? I told you, buy the stock to protect yourself. And then at 42.50, I mentioned it again. It's not like I led these people, into a pit of fire without warning them.
Yep.
You know, and then, you know, then of course, then there's people on YouTube just laughing their asses off at me because I was saying how this is the easiest trade in the world. But I said over time, these will all disintegrate and end up at zero. And, you know, overall, if you could have taken a little pain, you did all right. And then, you know, if you would have sold more, obviously, then you're
right.
in the world.
Right, and the issue with selling more though, when you're selling naked aggressively like that, is that do you still have the levers? So you guys can see this chart up. This is a weekly option of the 35 call. So you can see, I mean, it wasn't obviously as depressed in price as, you know, the weekly that Kenny's talking about. I think he was talking about a 50 call that was probably trading in the pennies. You know, you're looking at a $2 option here that floats up to 14 bucks. The shitty part about this is that it does a lot to you emotionally, right? You're short, let's say $4 or wherever the hell it is, and you know you're up $2 on the trade. You're looking for these things to bury down to nothing, and all of a sudden you're left to deal with shit like this, and stuff is all over the place. So you're going to be looking at your P&L all the time, and to have the conviction to hold and to sell up here, I'm telling you, man, that shit is not easy, man. And you know me, like I've gotten my ass into a lot of trouble doing the same thing, selling decay for Priceline, you know, on Fridays, and I've ended up in the same fucking situation. But this is where, by the way, like these are where the monster trades are made. This is where the most money is made and lost, always. You know what I mean? So it has the potential here, provided you're either stomaching some of the risk and able and have enough risk and have enough capital to continue selling. It's a tough thing to do, man. It's a tough thing to do.
Right. That's why when I say if someone's brand new to this idea, I was like, stick with the 85s. You know, at least you got a large cushion, you know, just in case something crazy happens.
Right.
Hang on a second.
Right. And again, guys, if you don't have the capital account for it, and again, like you're talking about hopefully a PMA account, and that's portfolio margin. So you're going to get much more than the Reg T. Reg T is regular margin where you're just going to get 2-to-1 overnight. You're going to get 4-to-1 intraday. That's what you're going to get. And they're not going to allow you to sell naked calls unless you got a huge amount of cash in your account. So we're talking about at least 100,000 or 125,000. And then most brokers won't even let you do that shit unless they know you and whatever. They want to take the risk or whatever it is. You know, so you're talking about a PMA account that you can get 7-to-1 on and at least $250,000. That way you can successfully short far out of the money, and even if this shit happens, you know, assuming you're not levered up to the fucking hilt and you can't even sell anymore, because if that happens, then you're 10 times fucked, because not only did you lose your $250,000, but now you're down $2 million and you can't get that shit back.
And you know, like I got a call yesterday about, you know, I was like, so now that it's coming down, do we do it again? I'm like, why would you sell calls now? It just fell 50%. You can't now, even though it may still work. The trade's just not a good risk reward at this point. You know, we're still headed into, there's gonna be some volatility. I mean, we still got some shit to deal with. I think there's a chance if you spike back to, you know, like 37 or 40 bucks, maybe even, you know, while I'm away. Hopefully it does spike because I am staying net short the market. But shorting them now, I don't care, the 85s, whatever, don't do it. Don't do it. You gotta wait. To get juicy.
Exactly.
Then take some of that premium and, you know, sell them now. It's going to be that same situation. Yeah, it might work, but you're going to have to endure. You know, no matter how confident you are in the trade, watching them go from 2 to 15 in your face.
Exactly, in your face. That it does something to you, man. It works your intestines, man. You need a fucking gastro bypass surgery by the time you're done with this shit.
As a bear, I'm sitting there going, I can't believe I'm losing money on this. I've been waiting for the market to go down for 3 years.
Exactly.
I'm losing money. I gotta.
How ironic. How ironic. Shit, man.
I mean,
all right, guys.
I had myself pretty good. I had some. What I still have. I bought August 107.50 puts in the midst of all that nonsense, and I did all right with those. Except I got 50 left that are fucking, you know, gonna expire. Worthless chances are. But that's why I'm hoping that we get some black swan event while I'm away. And generally, there's always some sort of, you know, I mean, the tsunami happened in Sri Lanka while I was away. The freaking volcano exploded in Iceland when I was away. The Egyptian nuclear fallout happened while I was away. I mean, shit happens when I'm away. And it's unbelievable. So I just need give me one crazy event while I'm away, and then I just come back from fishing. I see the Nasdaq down 275, but I just put a big ass smile on my face while I'm away.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, man. All right, guys. Thank you for joining in to this episode of Sang Lucci TV. Anybody who missed it, guys, check out the description here. You will see a lot past previous episodes as well with me and Kenny and a lot of other guys, so make sure you check those out. Kenny also has his own YouTube channel, which he has a lot of cool videos on there. He's a clown. The boy's a clown. He's a fucking clown. Yeah. So go check him out, too. You can check him out. What is it? At HitTheBid Radio? Is that HitTheBid Radio on YouTube?
Just search HitTheBid on YouTube. You'll get about 7,000 videos. If you want, you want some fun, search No Crying in Trading.
No Crying in Trading. Yeah, he's made a lot of good parody, financial parody videos, you know, that you guys got to check out. Him and I also are trying to do some videos together, possibly out in August. We just never linked together and got a script going and shit like that. But him and I are going to connect and get these things going. So stay tuned. Check us out on YouTube, and we'll see you soon, man. Kenny, enjoy yourself, man. Come back with a big-ass salmon, man. Get me some real fish. I want some fresh fish. You know what I mean? I want some real shit. I don't know what I'm buying at these grocery stores, man. The shit ain't fish.
I can't wait. If I catch a salmon, I think I'm just going to bite right into it like a grizzly. I want to see what that... Just tear it open. I'm bringing wasabi with me just in case. Soy sauce wasabi on the boat.
A little bit on this here.
I just dig right into that thing on the boat. It'd be awesome. Just one other thing before we go as a reminder. Predicting the market on a daily basis is virtually impossible. Obviously, you've seen what's been going on, highs and lows. But let me tell you, the 3 trades today based on the reversals in the VWAP, and I mention this every day, reversals in the VWAP cuts through all this bullshit that we try to guess what's going on today. Even this crazy stock, OHRP. I mean, the stock's insane. It started with a reversal this morning at 322. So it's a great thing. I mean, if you guys want to learn more about it, just let me know, and I'll be back in August, and we'll start talking. I'll show you a couple of pointers.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, guys, we'll see you guys next week for another episode. Kenny, have a great time, man, and we'll see you when you get back, man.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me on, as always. I'll see you in August.
Later, brother.
Later, man.